Cherop Ruth. Currently, I'm a graduate electrical and telecommunication engineer, currently interning as a network engineer in Kenya Revenue Authority in Times Tower. An intern. Yeah, and I am glad to be here. And I am an AYLF member, currently an alumni, just finished campus, and happy to have this amazing team with me. I'll let them introduce themselves.
Good morning, everyone, once again. I'm Jacob Kamau Miano. I'm a third-year student at the Technical University of Kenya. I'm currently pursuing my Bachelor of Technology in Mechanical Engineering. I'm a transformational leader, a young man still growing, a passionate young man in disruptive avenues, platforms, and forums where I get to grow, engage, and disassemble chaos for me. I'm here today to learn. SLDP is a chance for me to grow, and I hope to be the better one. Just something that I would like you to know, I'm the current Mr. Technical University of Kenya, and I hope to grow to greater heights. Thank you.
Hello everyone. So my name is Jackson Wahome Omboi. I am a student at Kenya Medical Training College, Nakuru campus, a second year student pursuing a diploma in pharmacy. So on what I do, I am an actor, a model, and also a trainer in some institutions. I used to train in a school called I used to train the drama club there. Also, I'm a transformational leader. I do a lot in getting to spaces when it comes for me. So also, on the part of the models, I'm the current Mr. Kenya Medical Training College in Nakuru campus, and also Mr. Popularity, YMCA Nakuru. And I'm here to learn and gain more and improve my leadership skills. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let titles not scare you. That is a thing I'm picking up today. My name is Diana Chimutai. I'm pursuing civil engineering. I'm working as a office janitor under the administration at Siasa Place. Also, I'm the executive secretary at Sakili Foundation. Thank you.
Today, we'll be taking you through the topic, the dynamics of community-based impact projects. And in that regard, I'd like my panelists to have a small talk on the same, maybe share their stories before we start off the questions. I'll start off. Personally, being a transformational leader, I'd say I have walked people through their lives, inspired them. Having served back in campus, I was the School of Engineering female representative. That was 2023, 2024. And I can attest from the stories I got of people who tell me how I inspire them, having a heart of the girl child, having talked and inspired many. I can say I have seen girls grow, take up spaces, and break barriers in what they do. I left campus, and I can talk of a lady. I inducted her into, she joined campus, I think, when I was in fourth year. And currently, I saw she vied and is the current organizing secretary of the Engineering Students Association. Back in third year, I was the organizing secretary, and I am happy to see the impact I created, the things I have done and continue doing. I have heard of stories of people who tell me what they keep on doing, impacting the society in one way or another. I know all of us here have people you have inspired. You don't have to be a big society, but you will impact someone at a personal level. And in the same way, you will inspire your siblings. We have people in church, the friends you have, and what you do. And in that regard, I hope to see us all, as we leave this SLDP program, we be able to impact people through touching them, could be spiritually, mentally, physically, or in one way or another. On to the next panelist.
Thank you. I think for me, community impact project, though at a minimal or rather small portion, started at a very young age. I think I was around, let me say 7 years, because I was in my class 1, class 2. And my mom would always remind me to start by helping at home, where though I come from a family of 10, I'm the 9th born. I have bigger sisters. I actually have 7 sisters. The man in this room, you can look for me. However, in as much as there were many, you would expect that I wouldn't be doing any duties at home. So I was assigned a duty of washing sufurias, and I was told to always wash them in the best way I can and make sure they are clean enough to cook, because the food that comes from those sufurias is very sweet. So I started there, and then after a while, she started telling me, once you've done from home, visit. We used to have a certain grandma, Nyanya, of the village. So most people had forgotten about her, so I was asked to always go. Either I was not allowed to clean her clothes, but I was allowed to wash her dishes, cook with her. By cooking with her, I mean is assisting. I didn't know how to cook, but she used to cook very nice meals. So I'd help her with that, sweeping around the compound. And then with time, it became a habit. I started loving it. I remember on weekends after school, I would go there. And being someone who was still learning how to know people and how to interact with people, that was a place for me to excel, because you see, a grandma, the only thing she will be telling is her stories. And she'll tell you how she met with the husband, how he died, how they enjoyed, and she will tell you everything, including how they did, their things. And it was amazing, because for me, I got to learn first-hand information, which is not filtered. She did not filter anything. I could ask her anything, and she would answer without judging or remorse or any form of wanting to lower me down. And then over the years, joining Starehe, I participated in holiday jobs. Holiday job is where we would go to. It was actually like attachment or internship, only that we used to do them during the holidays. So that is the August holiday, the April holiday, and then we were also allowed to stay in school over the holidays. You could stay in the school since you joined Form 1 until you leave. No one would ask you. So I stayed during one of the holidays, and was privileged to work at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, where I actually worked as a firefighter, more of an assistant, and then I had a chance to do the inspections, especially the pilots. I got a chance to panda the ndeges, and it was majorly pure community service. So what the school would do is they would give you transport to and fro, and lunch. So that was around 500 shillings each day. So if you're a wise guy, you would walk up to town, and then we made some arrangement with the organization that is KCA, or rather Kenya Civil Authority, and they arranged for a bus which will be picking us somewhere not around school, so that we can still get the money, but we get to board that bus to and fro the airport. So we were able to save that money. And then after that, I will not lie to you that I used that money well. I don't know how that money went, but it was nice. I really enjoyed it. So for me, it became something that I really loved. And then in Starehe, most of the things we used to do on ourselves. So no one would clean your toilet, rooms, everything. So we used to do all of that on ourselves. So it became more of a duty than just something you do for fun. Upon joining Kenyatta Trust, I would hear that people do a lot of community service, and then it became mandatory for you to do at least one community service a year. So I would do 3, and then I would send all of them, and then I would make sure I remind them that I actually did more than one, and make sure that I do them in different places so that they can see if we can interact. And then one time I was recognized as an active member in the camp, and then I was told I had sent several community service. So I think for me at that time I was trying to find the recognition. And then it got to a point where I realized I don't have to do it for the recognition part. So I stopped that. And then later on, in campus. I heard a story of the former Mr. Kenyatta Trust. He was called Divya Mlenya, and he told us how he had an opportunity and a platform in Kenyatta Trust to be able to carry out activities which are funded by the organization and also the students in the scholarship. So I saw this a chance. So for me, how I started modeling, that's how I started modeling, because I knew the only way I could get a chance to impact and make a change is by being Mr. Kenyatta Trust. Since being a student, maybe I would not have been, my policies, my words would just be rants in deaf ears, and maybe they would not be heard at first hand. So I went ahead, I contested. I remember I prepared with one day. I became Mr. Kenyatta Trust. And in the following 2 weeks, I had already organized a project. First of all, I started by coming up with a committee of trusted members. So that was comprised of my fellow winners who were first runners-up, second runners-up. And one of them is here, Vivian Tipape. So she's not just a crybaby, she's a very, very good member of the team. And we started off planning projects, and then we involved the students by asking them to contribute small amounts, amounting to even 10 shillings. And Domitila was also part of the team. I wouldn't want to forget you, Domitila. And we worked so hard, and within a year we had planned several community impact projects, most of them funded by the scholars. And so meaning that our funding used to come from the students, because I realized that we are the ones who are rich. We are the one with the money. Because, I mean, you go there, you find your mjengo, you make your 100 shillings. I'm only asking for 20 shillings. Why not? So you'll send it today, you'll send it tomorrow. By the end of the week, I have 100 shillings. And then there are people who would send 100 shillings every day. So by the time the event is happening, I have around 20,000 shillings. And given we are going to an organization, or I plan with another organization that is doing the exact same thing, all I would have to do is carry some things and then maybe buy lunch for the guys or provide lunch, and then we'll do the community service. So at the end of the day, it's a win-win for everyone. And then I came to understand that you need to be a team player. So I used to struggle a lot with delegation. Sometimes I would do everything on myself. I get burnouts, but I used to enjoy it. So that was me as Mr. Kenyatta Trust. Later on, it became a personal thing. I started attending events without inviting the other guys, because I used to feel some of the events I used to go, I don't know if they would be comfortable. I used to work as a social worker at Mathare North. It's a place where even standing alone, you can blink and you will not have anything on you. That is meaning you can be stripped naked that fast. So it needed sharpness, it needed an eye that can detect a policeman and a thief very fast. So then over the years, I could hear people say, Jacob, you inspire me, Jacob, inspire me. I think that's something that has really pushed me to continue with this. And I didn't like to really tell you so much about it. But let me say the lesson that I have really learned during all this journey is the art of teamwork, the art of learning to trust your member that he or she will do whatever they're expected to do at the right time. And if they don't, you have to be accountable for these people. So I think that's what, for me, Community Impact Project has been. And I hope now with SLDP, where I'll have to do it in a formal setting, I'll get more engagement and I'll continue learning. Thank you.
Okay, good morning once more. So for me, Community Impact Projects, I started when I was, to be sincere, I was not a person of doing community impact projects. Regarding I didn't have that space to do that. I can't say I didn't have space. Let me say I was not exposed to that. So, but my very first community impact project was after I joined Kenyatta Trust, and we were told that you have to do community impact project. So, at my first time, I went to a children's home called Talitha Kum in Nyahururu, that is Laikipia County. So there I was welcomed happily. Then they were like, you're a volunteer and you're like 15 years. And nikafurahia sana, and I stayed there for like a month. I learned a few things. I learned how to interact with the people there. Since, okay, I had never been exposed to people living with AIDS, HIV/AIDS. So the children's home is for children having HIV/AIDS. So being exposed in that one really mentored me and really showed me that it is possible for you to live with anyone, and it gave me that heart to do more than community impact and like kuwa to interactive with people. So the second time was Form 2. Form 2, before Corona, I went to another organization, St. Martin, nikatumwa kwa their home, effort at home. So there I stayed with people with disabilities, let me say special people with disabilities. There I stayed for like, I stayed like a month also. So because for me, I used to go during the April holiday. So there I stayed and I learned a lot. Nikapelekwa kwa the main office hapo, nikafanya nikafunzwa to do those craft stuff, because that's what they were empowering the people with special needs to do their talents. Like unapatanga most of the times in those Catholic shops, hizo candles zenye huwa unapata mostly, I can assure you, they are not made by these normal people. Like I made yangu na other people, they are made by those people with special needs in those organizations of the Catholic schools. So there I learned that you should not think that everything, like a person at your disability, that haezi fanya anything. So after that, I started getting this interest in medical stuff. So I started going to the hospital at home. So before even joining to medical school, I had gone to our hospital for some days, but first nikaambiwa we labda tu clean. So nilikuwa naenda hapo, nina clean, ninafyeka. But then as time goes by, I finished high school, and before joining high school, I stayed at the hospital for like 2 months. There I learned a few things. I learned how to do some tests, HIV test, nini. So my community impact project has been really based on Kenyatta Trust, and I really thank the space that they gave me to understand that it is not about the position you have. It is about you yourself standing out and doing that thing for the community. So after that, I joined campus. Yeah, at campus, I've been doing those community projects. Kuna Red Cross wanaenda mahali. I used to go there before becoming Mr. KMTC. So after I was crowned Mr. KMTC, I knew a person in the Red Cross, that is the current Mr. Red Cross, Nakuro, and we organized a blood donation in the school, and wanakuja, we give the blood, like what wanna donate their blood, and that has really developed me as a leader, because like me back then, I never used to interact with people sana. Though I'm a person wenye tukiingia a space ya kujibamba nini, utapata I'm very vocal, but to interact like nikupata one-on-one, I need your help, inakuwa ngumu. So that being a leader, that being Mr. KMTC, it has really changed me, and it has showed me that even if you can change your personality, not for yourself, but for the betterment of the community. So I think that's my very short story of community impact project, and being given a chance at AOLF, I have learned a lot, and I think that by the time this training will be ending, I'll learned a lot, because like for example, I came with a project, but by the time, I think even the first day, I even learned that my project, I need to improve on it. It's so simple, I need to challenge myself. So what I can say is that community impact, being given this platform to do the community impact, it should not only grow the community, but also grow you as a person and as a leader. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. We'll have Diana share her story after the questions. Okay, I'd like to introduce to us what community-based impact projects involves, which is local participation, collaboration, and sustainable development to address the social, economic and environmental issues. In this case, the dynamics of community-based impact projects they include community engagement and participation, and this has been elaborated so well as per the stories they've given. And also in that regard, we have the needs assessment, which is identify the key challenges, which have also been explained. We have collaboration and partnerships, resource mobilization, capacity building, feedback and adaptation, and sustainable and scalability. So I'm moving on to the questions to my panelists. And the first question goes to Diana. How do you define a successful community-based impact project?
Okay, thank you, Ruth. A community based impact project, I take it as all as a tree. If a tree grows fully up with all the green leaves, with having the fruit it bared, would that be fruitful? Would that be amazing? Would you be so nice to see that, hey, this is a nice tree, it has all grown well? Would that be good? Would that be good? I need your feedback here. When you look at a particular tree, there's a tree you'll be like, hey, that one grew well. Then the other one, it has few leaves. Some are dried up, some fell, no fruits, some do have fruits. Same way with a community-based impact project. Some are so successful to the fact that you'll feel the impact within yourself. You'll see the successes. You'll see the outcomes. We made it to call out to 100 people. These people got to engage in this football activity. These people made it to building that toilet in that school that was not seen. These students managed to raise 100,000 shillings to pay so-and-so school fees. That is a successful thing, yes.
Thank you so much for that. That was well elaborated. I hope you are all in agreement with that. Moving on to the next question, and I'm posing this to Jacob. What are the key factors to consider when initiating such projects?
Thank you, our beautiful moderator. To answer your question, for a project, first of all, you need to actually know what you're doing and what is the need in the community where you're going to do it. So that could be maybe they need some form of education, awareness, or it could be an environmental issue. So after you've known the problem, you come down to the other step, which is to actually seek or know what you need to execute the project. So you will need some materials, maybe you need some mentors, you need some people to mobilize people to bring, or rather to bring people to the event. After the need, you need some money, obviously. So you need to find a way to get some money. And in this way, you could find some partnership, or you could partner with organizations who are like-minded individuals in terms of whatever you're doing. If it matters environment, you could work with UNEP, or you could work with an organization that really seeks to fulfill the need of sustainability in terms of environment. You also need to look for people who are either, it could be an NGO, it could be a personal organization who are also looking for people to partner with. So meaning it will give you a more capacity. And maybe to just share something, when I was Mr. Kenyatta Trust, there's a time I needed to, we wanted to execute a project where we were planting trees in a certain area. So I worked with an organization called GUSA, it's Gatundu Association of Student Union. So I worked with them, and then we were able to plant over 3,000 trees. So it's not about the problem, it's about how you carry it out. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. And on this next question, I'm posing it to the audience. I'll get your response after. I'd like you to internalize on this. How important is community participation in shaping the outcomes of these projects? I'd like two responses after we have the next set of questions. Sawa sawa. You'd like to respond? Oh, the question is, how important is community participation? And this is where I'm involving you guys. How important is community participation in shaping the outcomes of this project? On to the next question, posing it to Jackson. How do you ensure that a project remains impactful after initial funding or support ends? How do you ensure that a project remains impactful after initial funding or support ends? This is basically in terms of the long-term impact on the CM.
So for me, I can say the way that you need to do it to make the community impact project to continue, that's what you're saying, even after the funding has been stopped. At first, I think you really have to involve the community very well, so that even if the funds ends up, they will still take it at their own. Because at a time, it will come and it will change. For you to say you are the leader, it will come and it will change, then you can even move out of the country. So if the community ilikuwa imechukulia ikweni yake, then they will try to build it up. Like for example, what Jacob said, they planted trees and they give them to the farmers. Like awaende wakazichunge. So even if the funding ends, it is their responsibility to make the community impact continue program. Also, you can involve the local authorities, because at the end of the day, local authorities are there for the people. It is the government for the people and by the people. So for involving the local authorities, it means that even if the funding by maybe an NGO ends, then the government and the local authorities will make sure that the community impact program continues. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And this is the last question. Either of the panelists will answer. How do you balance visionary leadership with practical implementation in community-based projects? Can I repeat the question? Okay. How do you balance visionary leadership with practical implementation in community-based projects?
Okay, maybe I can share an insight. So as a visionary leader, you obviously have to look at the bigger picture, which could be a 10-year thing, or it could be a 5-year thing. So maybe, for example, you want to carry out a project where it will lead to most students, or rather most families in the streets, having to leave the streets and maybe join schools and be productive members of the society. So you would obviously need to plan a well laid out program or curriculum. And maybe let me use the SLDP or AYLF, which I can see it's something that has already been working. So you come up with cohorts. So it means there's a time where you will graduate and then there's the progress. So maybe it's someone who was, and I think Mr. Gabriel Achayo mentioned that when he was starting this, when they were starting this, he had seen the vision, but he didn't know it would be this massive. So you have to see the vision first. You have to see how fast we want this to go, how far this impact will make a change in the society, and then start planning on activities and step-by-step process towards this goal. Yes.
Thank you all so much. And on to the audience, I posed a question and kindly requesting for responses on the same. We'll just take 2, then we'll have your questions after. 2 responses on the question I posed.
Okay. Yes, I'm Gabriel Munove. So now the question was maybe the importance or the impacts of community participation to a project. According to my understanding or how it should be, when the members of a community participates in a project, they will have the feeling of ownership of their project. So even when those who are implementing the project are not available anymore, they will still continue working on the project. Yeah, so they will not make it to fail. Yeah, thank you.
I want to relate it. Let me use Swahili. I am a language student. As part of my coursework, we usually do something known as discourse analysis. And in discourse analysis, there is something known as ruwaza ya mawasiliano, ambapo kwenye ruwaza ya mawasiliano kuna mihimili ambayo inatumika katika kuchanganua mawasiliano. Kwenye swali letu tunaulizwa kuwa washiriki ni the community now, and we are having the project. So in any communication, we have to have the people who are involved. So tunapokosa washiriki, tunasema mawasiliano hayajafanyika. Kwa hivyo kukosa washiriki kwenye project yenye tunafanya, the community impact project, inamaanisha hiyo project haiwezi kufanyika. So washiriki ni wa maana sana kwenye project. Asante.